For the latest on the arrest of prominent Zimbabwean politician Job Sikhala, we are now joined on the phone by his attorney, Eric Mabuza. And Eric, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. Maybe let's start off here. Is it true that Job Sikhala has indeed been arrested in South Africa, in the capital?
Yeah, good evening. I can confirm that indeed he's currently in detention over allegations of being in possession of explosives. Obviously, it's an allegation which he denies. He says that it seems that there's foul play because when he went out with his uncle for dinner, he was not carrying any explosives, but somehow those explosives found themselves in his car when he was driving out.
So are these the charges he's facing in South Africa for carrying explosives in South Africa?
Yes, that's correct.
Have you been able to speak to him? What is he saying about this issue?
He was arrested last night, so we made contact with him this morning, and we went to consult with him, and he gave us the version that I'm telling you, that he denies that he was in possession of explosives. Somehow he suspects that there was foul play because he didn't come here to buy explosives. He came here for medical treatment, and he's not involved in any firearms, and he's not in that industry.
And when did he?
You'll also remember that he spent about over 500 days in detention in his home country, and he was released without being charged after that. So he came to South Africa for medical treatment, and something like this happens.
And does he think that this is politically motivated somehow, linked to why he was charged in Zimbabwe?
He does suspect foul play. That's what he says. Just remember, he's a human rights lawyer. He's a peaceful person. So he has no reason to be involved in firearms or explosives. And
when is he expected to appear in court?
He's expected to appear in court on Monday. But fortunately, the police that are involved in the matter are very cooperative. They even went to the mall where his car was parked to check the footage. So I think that process will be completed over the weekend or on Monday. So we'll know on Monday whether they formally charge him or they've found evidence to exonerate him.
And do we know whether he is also receiving some assistance from lawyers from Zimbabwe?
I have no idea about that.
Mavetera, while you were still on ICT, you want to start a little ICT park. Why? Why? That is defeating that whole idea of one data center. And in my conversation with you, I said, Google is prepared to fund you, to fund the government on a centralized hub. And we discussed that this centralized hub will not be for Zimbabwe government only. And I said, and talking to James Manyika, the vice president of Google, we agreed that if we put in place enablers A, B, C, D, which we discussed, that hub will be a regional hub for the whole of SADC. And when we met in Victoria Falls, Honorable Minister, you remember, you made that statement, and parliamentarians from the SADC Parliamentary Forum agreed with you. And that's the way to go. And if you read this 2025 AI index report produced by Stanford University, you'll be clearly directed as to how you can establish that. Relatedly, it will also give you how you rope in the private sector. Government can't do it alone. It will show you the matrix of bringing in the private sector. And you relieve Treasury from the fiscal burden. So that should be the way we go. And the other issue is one of laptops. Now, I don't know to what extent you have engaged Bindura University. They are producing their laptops. Parliament has seen them. They are of good quality. They are of good quality. Huh? Let's coordinate with our universities. They are doing wonders there. Now, while I'm talking about university, I was very disappointed, Honorable Minister of Finance, that there's no evidence in the submission by the Deputy Minister of Higher Education that there is a clear outline on how our tertiary institutions relate to the private sector. Let me give you a practical example. You are training architects there, right? You are training architects, but you are not linking up with the construction industry. You are not linking up with the construction industry. You are training engineers. Are they linking to the various sectors of infrastructural development in the private sector? So that as they finish, they are employable there. Or as they finish, they can create, employment. The collaboration is very weak, Honorable Minister of Finance. It's very weak. But the brains are there. The brains are there. And the question of active ensuring that the innovations in the innovation hubs and the industrial hubs, those discoveries, those inventions, they are not patented at all. And I've seen through ZITF here and ZAS in Harare, and I asked the question, you have done all this, have you registered the patent? No. Now, that patent under copyright law can enrich universities without asking money from the fiscus. I've just talked about Stanford University. It's thriving on private sector. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the leading universities, is thriving on private sector. And the question is, why are we not learning from the others? And some of our bright boys are being stolen by European countries. Before even they've registered their patent here. So we need strong collaboration that is determined, not this wish-wash affair. So let us see from the time we live here, a new direction, a new direction. And this is what is the meaning of the presidential mantra, Nyika inovakwa neveni vayo, ilizwe lakiwa ngabantu banu. And we are here as the foot soldiers of building that country. And we just saying, presidential mantra, Nyika inovakwa neveni vayo, and you are not lifting a small brick to build Zimbabwe. Let us see seriousness. And one of the greatest assets that we have here in Zimbabwe is the asset of the brain. The asset of the brain. We have the brains. And those who profess to have done, higher education and so on. The first two universities were in Africa. West Africa and Egypt. Why should we look down upon ourselves? I rest my case.
There is absolutely no loophole in the Constitution. The Constitution was elegantly and competently drafted. And I'm happy to say that the lawyers who did it took a lot of care on that. You will notice that there is Section 95. But the Constitution doesn't end with Section 95. There is Section 328, which says that if there is any need to amend a term limit clause, that amendment must be the same as amending the Bill of Rights. Now, we don't use the word referendum there, but when it comes to amendment of the Bill of Rights, you amend using the referendum. So what we did was to say that in amending the term limit clause, it shall be the same in the same manner as amending the Bill of Rights, i.e. via the referendum. I have seen the opinion by Jonathan Moyo and a gentleman called Tawanda Nyamirai. What these gentlemen are just doing is to try to ingratiate themselves with ZANU-PF. They are trying to please President Mnangagwa. There is no loophole. Now, the term limit clause in Section 328 does not talk of a term. It talks of the length of time that a person holds office. A length of time that a person holds office. We did that very advisedly. Now, if a person is supposed to be in office for 5 years and suddenly they make it 7, they lengthened the period in which he is holding office. That is the simple interpretation of that constitution. And when we are interpreting a constitution, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to bore you with a bit of law here, we use the literal rule. We look at the grammatic meaning, ordinary grammatic meaning of the words. So the constitution says a term, an extension of term, an extension of term is the time within which a person is holding office. So it is not helped by changing the term from 5 years to 7 years. When you change the term from 5 years to 7 years, you are still lengthening the period in which a person is holding public office. So absolutely no loophole. We know that ZANU-PF and the people you talked about are afraid of the referendum because they are afraid of the people. So we are saying the people of Zimbabwe must claim what is in the Constitution. And in Section 2 of the Constitution, we have a principle called the sovereignty of the people. That is the power of the people to decide. It is the power of the Zimbabweans to decide whether there should be an extension of term or not. Because it is the people of Zimbabwe who put in the term limit in the first place through the outreach program during the constitution making process. So absolutely no loophole. Of course, they will attempt to use the pliable parliament. We were not really surprised that some of the opposition MPs were singing 2030 via Emerson. And ladies and gentlemen, you are from the Blair press. You remember me warning you that the opposition MPs, the current opposition MPs, were going to vote for an extension of term. It has come to pass, and they are working very hard to do it. So absolutely no loophole.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure that you ring the bell. And may God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. I love you all and bye for now.